After immediately finding her son on Earth, Gine holds out hope her oldest child also found a way to survive. But upon listening between the stars, nothing has been revealed one way or another. And initially turning down son Gohan's suggestion to allow him to help her hone her skills. After she discovers brute force isn't everything, will she allow the hermit to train her to better her skills? Click the like button to give it a break from everything it goes through, and support GineReboot using the links in the description. And shout out to Sai for finding the stone in the last video. Find it today and be the first to comment if you want a shout out next time. Backing off, Gohan admits he may not be very strong, but he's sure he can help Gine better control her power. But it's her decision. Waiting back to the house, he goes to check to see if Goku's awake. And she really isn't giving up on this whole "his name is Kakarot" routine. She thinks for a moment, almost laughing to herself it's a good thing Bardock isn't here to see how an old man just defeated her. And while she doesn't like it, she knows Gohan is right. Speaking out to her dead husband, she's sure he'd be disappointed in her. She's about to do something that goes against her Saiyan pride and beliefs. But he did want her to get stronger, and she's going to do the right thing. And the little one is up and at him. Luckily, the old man is pretty tough for a human, and only chuckles he surely is his mother's son. When Gine enters, requesting a word with the hermit, she apologizes for her behavior. The reason she's so stubborn is, she's scared. She just wants to appear strong, but the truth is she's terrified of losing her son. Gohan silently listens in understanding, as Gine cries Kakarot is the only family she has left, and she can't lose him too. Not after losing Bardock and Raditz. She doesn't want to be a failure. Her hands now over her face. The mother sobs she couldn't even do anything to save her family or prevent the destruction of her world, cursing she's nothing but a hindrance, useless and weak, as she's always been. Finally, Gohan silences her. He smiles she mustn't let the past control her. Now is the time for her to live on for her loved ones. If she does, he guarantees that her future will be a prosperous one, and he would be honored to teach her everything he knows, urging she wipe away those tears, otherwise little Goku will start crying too. His name is Kakarot. Nonetheless, this gets her properly motivated. He informs, being arrogant is not the same as being strong. Make no mistake about that. Bowing, she lets him know it'll be a great honor for her to learn from him, referring to Gohan as master, though he insists he'd just be called Gohan. Near a small waterfall in the middle of the wilderness, balancing herself on a rock, Gine doesn't understand why she's doing this. The hermit informs this exercise is to help calm her mind and focus. Learning this, she will be able to sense the presence of any living creature and know how strong they are. But she argues her scouter can do that. Gohan points out that device can be broken or lost. If that occurs, what will she do then? He wants her to feel what's happening around her. Once she's mastered it, she will know when danger is near, telling her to now close her eyes and focus. It's time to put her to the test. Complying with her teacher, she shuts her eyes, reminding herself she can do this. All she needs to do is focus. And actually, it's even easier than she thought. Catching her off guard, she screams at the old-timer why the heck you would throw a stone at her. She wasn't ready! Before also snipping at her child to stop laughing. Hurting mommy isn't funny. Later that same night, a full moon hangs in the sky. Having gone out to gather some firewood, something seems to put off Gohan. Gine using her scouter again. So he brings up seeing her with that device the other night, asking what she's doing. She tells him she has a second son named Raditz. He wasn't on planet Vegeta when it exploded, and she's hoping he's still alive. Listening to random transmissions from the Frieza Force is the only way to find any sign of him, although the chances he'll be alive are pretty slim. The old man puts together Frieza as the galactic tyrant who destroyed her world. He questions if it's dangerous to use that thing, thinking they might be able to track her. But as long as she only listens in and doesn't broadcast anything, they won't find her. Understanding, he simply hopes some good news happens her way. She appears to notice the current phase of the moon, shutting her eyes likely out of habit. Also using her hand to cover her sons. Gohan wonders if anything's wrong, so she decides now is the time there is something really important she must tell him about the full moon. Saiyans like her manifest their true strength upon looking at it. When this happens, they transform into gigantic apes called Oozaru. Kakarot is still very small. If he changes, he won't be able to control it. joking now that he knows he's going to treat her very well from now on, otherwise she could get mad and transform. Though, he is rather stoic, bluntly stating he wants to see her transform, bringing a little confusion to the warrior. He elaborates she has trouble concentrating and finding inner peace. If she transforms willingly, that will help him understand her culture a bit better, and he could come up with something to help her with her training. So he asks her, can she control her transformation? Hesitating, she hasn't transformed in a long time, but should be able to, prompting him to inquire, could he ask her to transform right now? And while reluctant, she wants to change into her armor first. A few minutes later, curious why the attire swap, she explains a special material it's made from allows it to expand. Witnessing her go from a feral humanoid to wild beast, Gohan panically asks Gine if this is normal, who appears to have lost her sentience. He realizes maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all, pleading to know if she's still her. With no answer, he questions again if she still knows who they are, but reaching out for him.
I told you I could control myself.
Playing a horrific joke on the hermit, she inquires what he thinks of the transformation. Does it not amaze him? And it certainly does, as he calls it quite amazing, terrifying but surprising. He can feel her strength has increased a lot, but as well as her anger. This helps him understand a lot of things. He thanks her for showing him this form, saying she can change back to normal now. But that's easier said than done. She nervously explains there's a mild problem with that. She must wait until the moon is no longer visible, or cut off her tail to make that happen. There's no way she's cutting off her tail. Which leaves them with one option. The moon needs to be out of sight before the effects pass, though he warns that will take all night, only hoping she won't have to go to the bathroom in the meantime. Noon, the next day. Gine lies on a mattress in the middle of the forest. Waking, she yawns as she forgot how uncomfortable it was to transform, muttering everything hurts. She notes how the full moon on this planet lasts a lot longer than the one back home, knowing she needs to make sure Kakarot doesn't see it. At least, not until he's older. Speaking of whom, he must be with Gohan right now. That's when she glances over to discover the old man has been adding on to his house. He greets her with a, "Why, hello, Gine!" chortling she slept all morning and hopes she's well rested. He explains how he's just doing some renovations, and little Goku is up here helping him. Before he says, seeing her transform last night, it made him realize a few things. Now he knows just what to do to help her with her training, but for now, they need to make a little trip. Beginning their trek, Gohan exclaims the Oozaru form is truly amazing. He questions if all Saiyans can do that, which they can, but low-class Saiyan warriors need special training to maintain control, and those born with high power levels usually have no problem with it. He continues that she's a very talented young woman. Surely she had no problems the first time around with it, right? And thinking back, we see the first time she transformed, with Bardock instructing her. He drills the time has come. They have trained a lot for this moment, asking if she's sure she can control herself in the Oozaru state without going berserk. With complete confidence, she salutes him, shouting she is ready. Stop Gine! She's going berserk! Bardock! Control your wife! Ah! Not fully explaining this memory, she accidentally lets Gohan get a few steps ahead of her. She nervously laughs. Yeah, right. She's never had a problem with the transformation. She then points out he hasn't told her where they're going yet. He reveals they're heading to the nearest town, wondering why they're going there and if it's for training. Gohan chuckles that she have patience, and she'll find out when they get there. Asking how long it'll take, he smiles it'll be about 2 days on foot, which is a little more than Gine bargained for. So instead of walking, she has a much better idea. Taking to the air, he didn't know she could use the flying technique. Now they'll get there in only minutes. Hovering over the small town, Gohan tells her they've arrived. He thinks she might grow to like it here. Again, she reiterates she doesn't know what they're doing here, when Gohan tells her to land over there, pointing to a specific location. Making her way through the area, she can't help but ask if this is the daily life of the average Earthling, which is about right, suggesting she let him know if anything catches her attention. And almost immediately, shoes! The old-timer realizes she's lagged behind. Seeing her checking out the display, he laughs no matter what world a woman comes from. Some things never change. An associate politely comes out to greet her, noticing her good taste in fashion, before asking if she'd like to try on some dresses. Of course, the Saiyan warrior is pretty confused by all this. When Gohan goes to playfully push her inside, chuckling yes she would. After a little dress-up, Gine didn't realize at what point they went from meditation training to doing everyday activities as an Earthling. But oddly enough, she was enjoying it too much to even care. Even finding a new outfit for Kakarot, who doesn't seem quite as thrilled. While she doesn't understand why Gohan brought her to this place, in fact she figured out her questions about it the moment they arrived, she quickly discovers this Earth place is really interesting and fun. As the hours passed, she began to well up with emotions and sensations that she never thought she could experience. She was thoroughly enjoying her time here with Gohan and Kakarot. During all these moments, she completely forgot she was a Saiyan. As the sun sets yet again, the young and an old-timer are dressed in traditional apparel. He inquires if little Goku is having fun, as Gine makes her usual objection to his real name. Gohan is stunned by the sight before him, complimenting she looks very cute in a kimono. The three of them share a view of the fireworks, another relatively new sight to the warrior. Staying the night in the town, Gine hadn't realized it sooner, but the Earth is really such a beautiful place. Heading over with some ice cream, Gohan questions what she thinks of her experience on Earth so far. Unsure of where he was, he explains he went out to buy something he's sure she'll love, gesturing for her to take the cone. She argues it's cold and smells weird, but he urges she just trust him. And sure enough, as strange as Saiyans can be at times, no one can resist the power of ice cream. The old man smiles, knowing she'd like it, so he decided to treat the three of them to some cake as well. Gine exclaims she had no idea the food on Earth was so tasty. He questions if she's been enjoying her training. But she thinks, training? What training? They've just been having fun all day. Prompting her teacher into a bit of a monologue, he tells her she has a noble heart, but comes from another world where she only knows war and violence. He imagines she's been through a lot of suffering. So, for her to learn proper control of her ki, she must calm her mind and spirit. That's why he brought her to this place. Now that Earth is her home, he wanted her to know and experience the beauty this world had to offer. When he saw her transform into that giant ape, he could feel a great power within her, but he also sensed a lot of anger and thirst for combat. He assumes that's natural for a Saiyan, and something he can never truly extinguish in her, no matter how much they train. What he wants to help her achieve is a balance in her emotions, so that she can master her ki. Thus, she can get access to new fighting skills that she didn't know she had. When someone pops their head out of the bushes, the creeper notices it's a boy with a tail. Thinking fast, he believes he can take advantage of this. Silently presenting some candy as bait, he quietly calls for the infant to come over. Gine tells Gohan she's not really sure if the training is paying off, but she doesn't care. Kakarot and her are having a great time as Earthlings. Looking down to ask her son, isn't that right? When they realize he's gone, the man had grabbed him and sprints away, laughing to himself that was too easy, and he can't wait to see how much money he'll make with this tailed brat. Hours pass. The hermit asks if she had any luck finding him, but no luck. She found nothing. Unable to understand how he just vanished, knowing he must be all scared and alone, she doesn't know what to do. She can't lose her son, not again. Cutting her off, Gohan firmly spouts she listen, urging she calm down. There is only one way they can find Goku. She and her son share a special connection. She should be able to feel his presence. She argues she still doesn't know how to do that, but she needs to remember to not just try to feel Goku's presence by force. Her mind is like a whirlpool of emotions. She must calm down and concentrate, which she is, but still panicking. He explains she needs to find that natural connection she has with her son in order to sense his presence. She must let her energy flow within herself like a gentle stream. She has to balance her emotions and remember what she loves most in this world, and it will guide her to the right path. Remember those loved ones she has lost. Her memories of them will always be a part of her. Remember those who have done her harm in the past, but don't let her anger and hatred control who she is. Gather all of these emotions together and calm her mind, guiding her ki to connect with her son's ki. Pointing to a nearby cliff, she spouts over there. It was just for a moment, but she knows she could sense Kakarot's presence. Gohan knows that place is a little far for a toddler to have moved on their own, believing someone must have taken him. Her fear turning to determination. She won't let anyone get between her and her son again. With the kidnapper, as Goku appears a bit disgruntled, the creep growls this kid has caused him nothing but trouble. Plus, he ate all his food, grumbling he better be worth it when he gets his money. Just as the duo arrive, Gohan warns he's surrounded and has nowhere to run, and he better return that child he stole from them, and they might let him go. The criminal wonders how they found him, but also wonders if they were really just flying. Either way, there's no way he's going quietly. He hurls little Goku off the cliff, trying to use the opportunity to get to his car and escape. Though it doesn't take Gine but milliseconds to catch him. Not saying anything, she hands the boy over to her mentor, and despite his pleas for her to wait, she doesn't comply. Now out on the road, the bandit thought he had the perfect plan. Though at least there's no way those two will be able to find him now. Once he makes it around that next curve, he'll be totally home free. Ah, what the? Stopping him dead in his tracks, he tries to gather himself on what just happened. As Gine dangles him over the mountainside, screaming not only did he kidnap her son, but he also attempted to kill him by throwing him off a cliff. She should do the same to him for what he's done. But as cowards do, he only begs for his life, promising he will never do anything wrong again so long as he lives, pleading she not drop him. Tossing him into the road, Gohan is immediately in his face, scoffing the thug is lucky that Gine is noble enough to show mercy to scum like him. However, he deserves to be punished for his actions. With an Ioibo, he knocks him out cold, asking if Gine is okay, who is already completely lost in thought on something. She mutters she wasn't cut out to be Bardock's battle partner because she couldn't bring herself to kill anyone, inquiring if she's weak for sparing this kidnapper's life. Though he has the complete opposite in mind, quelling of course not. Even if they hurt her, showing mercy to someone is not a weakness. It just shows how strong you really are. And she is the strongest, bravest woman he has ever known. In fact, he wants to apologize to her. His intentions were for her to have a pleasant experience so she could learn to develop her skills in Ki. But in the end, she went through terrible anguish. But she assures there's no reason for the old-timer to apologize. It was thanks to his training that she was able to feel her son's presence. It was the most beautiful feeling she's ever experienced, and she's definitely going to continue her training. Thanking her, he thinks it's about time they headed on home. Gine is quick to agree. On Mount Paozu, several days later, a frustrated Gine continues to attempt her meditation. Though through the adventures of motherhood, that's easier said than done. When Gohan walks over announcing he has a surprise for her, before realizing something's wrong. Helping her up, the Saiyan explains how the tail is their biggest weakness. She was actually having Kakarot help her out to build a resistance to that sensitivity, but her body just now feels numb. Before drawing attention back to this surprise of his, and seeing it for herself. It's less a surprise, but still impressive nonetheless, as he has finished the renovations on his house. She wonders why he made the changes in the first place. Though questions can be saved for later, he wants to show her around right now. Ushering the pair inside, he informs this ladder will lead straight to the top floor. Poking her head through, she shouts it's amazing! Now he's gonna have a lot more living space. The old man is happy to know she likes it, but didn't build this room for himself. This room was especially made for her and little Goku. Turning, she asks why. When he remembers, he actually has a second surprise. Handing her a new outfit, he explains he hasn't had the opportunity to welcome her to Earth properly, so this is his way of doing so. Once she finishes her training, he hopes she'll decide to stay. That's why he built this room, to let her know that her and young Goku will always have a home to return to. Her eyes darkened. She goes to tell Gohan. She keeps telling him his name is Kakarot, but just this once, she gives him permission to call him Goku, and now to try on that new outfit. Realizing she still has some company, she barks, "You mind?" Realizing he's forgotten himself, he closes his eyes and hands her the boots. Kneeling down, he inquires to Goku how he likes his new room. As Gine announces he can turn around now. Laying eyes on her, he thinks that really suits her. Gine appears to feel the same. Getting a look at herself, she thinks combining these colors was a really great idea, thanking him for the new gi and complimenting his talent. Trying to keep it modest, Gohan smiles for her to stop or she'll make him blush. She also takes the moment to thank him for the new room as well, calling it the most generous thing anyone has ever done for them. Bending down to her son, she warns from now on, Gohan won't be able to get rid of him so easily. She still has a lot to learn about Ki and needs to perfect her fighting style, so he better get used to having the two of them around. Besides, it'd be cruel to separate Kakarot from his grandpa. This remark causes the old man to swell up in tears, unable to think of how to respond. She shouts for him to come on to train some more, as there's no time like the present. As the days went by, Gohan continued to help her improve her fighting style and develop her perception of ki. Kakarot even seemed to enjoy playing with her tail as she trained to make it less sensitive. Now that she leads the life of an Earthling, she decided to keep her battle armor as an heirloom. It's a simple life, but she enjoys it nonetheless. She also decided to keep her scouter to continue to monitor transmissions from the Frieza Force, still hanging on to the hope that any surviving Saiyans, namely Raditz, could still be out there. Days turned into years as time passed before her eyes. She experienced wonderful things. For the first time in her life, she came to know the joys of what it was like to have a family, only wishing Bardock could be here. From the moment Kakarot began to learn to walk on his own, he developed an interest in martial arts. It wasn't long before he joined them with their training. Since then, they've had a lot more fun. There wasn't a time when they weren't together. Gine quickly got used to the peace and tranquility that Earth had to offer. This beautiful planet was now their own, and she made a vow to protect it, only hoping that if one day the Frieza Force or any other threat arrives, she'll be prepared. In the meantime, she will savor every moment she can with her son and Gohan. These were happy times worth fighting for. But one night, everything was about to change.